Hello everybody, it's Jenny McGarvey. I have my week 32 of Project Life to share with you today. As you can see from the video, I am getting ready. I have some items pulled out, including my August 2014 Scraptastic Kit Club This Life Noted kit, my photos, some flair that I really want to use, and a few Heidi Swap, I guess they're frames that I want to use as well. I am using my typical style A page protectors, though I do use the We Are Memory Keepers ones because I like how thick and clear they are. And I'm changing up my photo sizes like I have been quite a bit recently, using some smaller photos in those 4x6 holes, just so that I can get more photos onto my page in a pleasing way. Now, as you can see here, I have been throwing down my photos and getting some of them all together and ready for putting together my layout. I am missing a photo in that lower right-hand corner. I don't know how that got missed when I went through and printed out on my selfie, but sometimes it does happen, so it's not a big deal. I'll just use my iPhone and print out another copy of the photo that didn't print before. This particular week is a huge week, actually. It's a short few-day getaway for my family in Las Vegas, and then also moving into our new home. And when I say moving into our new home, I mean that the moving truck came, pulled up, unloaded my stuff. And so that is captured in this week as well. So, like I said, a very large week, a move and a vacation. So the previous weeks leading up to this, including the week before and the week before that, and a few weeks before that too, are about the move as well, but obviously this one is very move-centric since we're actually physically moving into our space in this particular week. Now, as you can see, I'm going through the 4x6 cards, choosing ones that'll work perfectly in my spread, including that upper left one that says something about an unexpected adventure, and then I'm trying to find one that will be good for the upper right one, which will be my date card for this particular layout, or often I refer to those as my title cards as well. Now, I'm really liking that one that looks like, I guess, kind of like a library card, but it's got all of the dates of the month typed out on it, and I will use that for my title card. Now I'm choosing 3x4 filler cards, filler and journaling cards actually, and trying to figure out a scheme that I'd like to stick with for the entire layout for both sides, the left and the right. I really liked that checkerboard, different colored one. It really fit the fun and whimsical theme. However, I decide to go with something different because I do need some journaling, and I like that yellow away card because it sort of indicates travel, which this week was a vacation week. So it did really make sense to use that one instead and pick a different journaling card. So now I have that one that has gray around the outside and the red text at the top, and it's perfect and it fits well with the other cards that I've already chosen and also with the overall feeling of the photos that I have. Now, as you can see, I got that lower right-hand photo printed out from my Canon selfie printer, and I'm going to go ahead and get started embellishing and putting together all of these different things. Now, as you can see, I have those Caitlin Schaefer cut-aparts from the This Life Noted kit, and what I'm trying to do is see if they are 4 inches, if it'll fit on the side of my photo, how that's all going to work together, and I learned that they are going to. And this is really a super fun way to add something different and unexpected to your photos without going crazy, without it being overly embellished. If you've watched any of my videos before or looked at any of my Project Life layouts, you know that I like to keep things fairly simple. And I explain every week that it is because I am still a 12x12 scrapper, and so I don't need my Project Life to go crazy. I just really want it to document what we're actually doing and the life that we're actually day-to-day living. So a little embellishment, awesome. Stamping, fantastic. Journaling, even better, but I don't want to go crazy. And it's totally okay for other people who do if this is their primary form of scrapbooking, but for me it's not, so this is just a great way for me to tell our day-to-day story in a prettier way. Now, as you can see, I am pulling out a strip of white cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and use one of the stamps that came in the This Life Noted kit to stamp right on top of that white cardstock. I do believe it's a scrap of Nina Solar white cardstock. I'm a big fan. I use cheaper cardstock that I get at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or whatever for the base of my cards, but for stamping or things like that, I like to use the higher quality cardstock. I actually do think it makes a difference. So you will find that I use that a lot in my stamping or things like that, but not for my card bases. So as you can see, I used that bigger rectangular shaped stamp, and I used a Studio Calico ink pad called Well Red, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere it to that photo of my son with the Hershey bar, but I'm not including the whole thing. I'm letting one part of it slide off the edge, and then I will trim that side off. Now I'm going through the kit and I'm getting out those Snap Alphas in orange, which is super perfect because most of the photos have orange in them. One of my sons is crazy about orange right now and he wears it a lot. So the orange alphas, maybe they don't match the other cards that I've used, but they do match my photos. And so I love the way that this just makes the overall layout a little bit more comfortable when I spelled out the word yummy. Now I'm pulling out some of the other embellishments from the kit, looking at how I can add just the tiniest bit of journaling to this one particular card. I use a Teresa Collins sticker, and then I pull out a slick writer and I'm going to outline that because it's a similar color to my photo and I want it to stand out a little bit more, and then I will add just the tiniest bit of journaling as well. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that I'm not particular about the pen that I use. I will use a Sharpie marker, like a fine-tipped one, or I will use a slick writer. I don't really care. It's just whatever I happen to pull out. Now I'm going to work on that upper left-hand corner card, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere those two photos down on top of the card. And then I have pulled out a few different embellishments from previous kits that I want to use on this card as well. This says something about the unexpected. Well, this is expected. It's not unexpected. It was a vacation, but I wanted to use the card with the expected part. So I'm using a cork globe embellishment from a previous kit and covering up the which is perfect. It makes the card absolutely perfect for my layout, and it's totally about travel, which is fantastic. So it's super an easy way to modify something that you might have to fit your specific needs. Now I'm also using a car wood veneer for this card that was also from a previous kit. I love keeping some of these things around, and then you can use them as they become necessary in your own particular pages or album. So I'm going to add my standard journaling lines to this card. I'm using a slick writer. It is not necessary. These cards are not slick. They are, a regular pen would have worked just fine. This just happened to be the first thing I grabbed, so I'm using that one. I'm drawing my journaling lines, and then I will go ahead and journal right on top of those using the slick writer as well. And I will tell a little bit about our week and about our vacation right on here. The awesome thing is that we love this trip, and the boys always, always, always remember it. So I love including this in my project life and telling a little bit more about the details, though it's not entirely necessary to give all the details because the kids love this trip so much that they always remember a lot about it. So it's not necessary for me to use a 4x6 card or anything like that for my journaling about our trip. Okay, so that card is complete. Now you can see in the lower left-hand corner photo, I have something that will require journaling, but I'm going to save that and use my typewriter for that because I know that I have a sentence or two that I'd like to say, and my typewriter will help me get a little bit more text right on top of there. Now I'm pulling out the wood veneers from this month, from the August kit, and I had this idea the other day that I would think it would be so fun to back that viewfinder wood veneer with sequins. And originally I had just thought maybe one sequin in each of the holes, and then I decided, you know what, let's just see what it looks like if I dump them all out and then layer the wood veneer on top. And what's perfect about this is that it's really pretty, and I love all of the colors of the sequins, but then also this is Las Vegas, so it is perfect to have sequins and a little bit of glitz and glamour for a layout about Las Vegas. So normally what I might do with sequins is use a Martha Stewart glue pen that I have, but because I'm using a whole lot of sequins, I am just going to go ahead and use my ATG tape runner because it's super sticky and put the adhesive down inside that circle that I drew with a pencil. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add sequins all within that adhesive and that circle, and just get them all in one fine thin row so that they're not really overlapping each other and they're not creating a whole lot of bulk, because I still need to adhere that wood veneer viewfinder right on top. Now as you can see that this is a mix of yellows and oranges and blues with a little bit of gray and a couple of clear and light blue and stuff like that, but mostly the bulk is the yellow and the green and the blue with a little bit of orange, and it just really ties into my whole color scheme really well, and it just really fits the Las Vegas theme very well as well also. Now as you can see, the sequins stick really well to this ATG gun, but if you're only, the adhesive from the ATG gun, excuse me, but if you're only going to be using a couple of sequins, it doesn't really make sense to use it because it's particularly not easy to get a tiny amount on there, and that's why I use the Martha Stewart glue pen. I've actually had it for a very long time, and it has lasted, I mean, absolutely all of 5 years, I would say. And it has lasted a long time, and it works great for sequins and smaller wood veneer as well. So now once I get all of those sequins on there, it is imperative that I pull out that wood veneer and check and see how it's going to look all together with it, and see if I got the coverage correct, to make sure that we can not see them on the edges, but we can see them through the holes and there's not too much overlap. And then also to erase some of those pencil lines as well, because I don't want to see those either. So now I'll pull out the ones that are sticking out from underneath, because like I said, I don't really want those. I don't need it to be perfect, but I want to get it pretty close where you're not seeing them hang out the bottom or anything like that. So now once I've got that done, then I will erase the rest of those pencil lines and try to pull up some of that adhesive that's still sticking out too, so that it's not gray, you know how the adhesive, if it's left there or when it gets dirty from the eraser also. And then I will add adhesive right to the back of that wood veneer and stick them down to the sequins, and then trim off the tiniest little edge that I have hanging over the edge of the card. So now as you can see right there, you've got sort of a fun little sparkly viewfinder, which is perfect for my trip. And then I'm going to take one of those Caitlin Schaefer cut-aparts and trim the little arrow out from right inside of there. And then once I've got that trimmed out, I am going to take a date roller stamp and use my VersaFine ink and just stamp the dates right on top of that little arrow. Now, if you, and again, I'm going to use my iPhone to check and make sure that I have the dates correct, because often I don't remember the specific end date or the start date, or, you know, maybe I do, but I just want to make sure. So as you can see right there, I have the white, I think it's a Dear Lizzie one for the dates, and then I'm going to pull out a wood grain Studio Calico one to add some triangles in between the two different dates right there. And then once I'm finished with that, I'll use the ATG gun again to adhere this right to that wood veneer. There there. That turned out really cute. I don't usually do anything that is really that intensive. That's pretty labor intensive for a layout of mine. I like to keep things generally fairly simple, but this is really unexpected and fun, and I'm super glad that I did that with this particular layout. So now this side's looking pretty good and we're getting closer, but I know that that lower left-hand photo needs something still. And so I have one of these flare from the exclusive flare from that the subscribers received for the birthday celebration. They were a gift of 6 flare that are super cute, and I added that to that lower left-hand photo. So now I can go ahead and move that right out of the way and then pull out my other template so that I can make the right side. Now I'm going to go ahead and start throwing down those photos how I want them and how I've already planned, because if you've watched any of my videos before, you know that I use a notebook and by hand I draw out the way that the spread will go for that particular week, putting in like where the different pictures are go, or if I'm going to use a filler card or a journaling card or whatever like that. So now this side is pretty photo heavy. There was a lot that went on. This was the end of the week. This is where the Las Vegas trip was. This is where the moving van was. This is where soccer happened. This is where my old household. So as you can see, there are so many things going on. So I wanted to use the wood veneers from this kit. They were really, really cute. Like that viewfinder that I already used, this wood veneer love. There was also this really cool one that says open up your heart with a heart and an arrow, and it's just really graphic and cool. I unfortunately don't get to use that one this particular week, but that's okay. So I'm going to use another one of those cut aparts right on the right side of that photo of my house, which is a photo of it with a sold sign out front. Now that lower left hand photo is going to give me a little bit of trouble. I know that I want to use it. I like the color, I like the pattern, but I just can't quite figure out how to use it. So I mess around with it a lot, you'll see, and I use this wood veneer, which is from a previous kit from last fall, actually, I believe. I really love it. I definitely want to use it, and I'm just trying to figure out how to get this all together with that card and these 2 photos. Now that is a flare from Panda 8, and it is from one of her California sets, and it's a picture of California, and it says Home Sweet Home. And I knew I absolutely had to use it this week, and I'm just trying to find a different way to get that lower left-hand corner to work, but I can't quite seem to do it. I also have that summer wood die cut that is from also a previous kit, probably from July if I had to guess, maybe June. And I want to use it also, but it's just really trying to figure out how some of these elements can all come together. I don't usually have things already pulled out and chosen that I know I specifically want to use. I usually work just on my spread without having things pulled out. So it's a little bit different for me to try and work certain things in. Now I've pulled out a card that is just going to go ahead and be a filler card. It's not journaling or anything like that. And I'm going to put that summer on top of there. And I do actually leave it there for the long haul. Now as you can see, I'm still fiddling with that lower left-hand one. And I've pulled out a flamingo wood veneer, which I love. And it works perfect with these photos of Serendipity 3 because it is across the street from the Flamingo Hotel. And I really wanted to use this flamingo because it's across the street from there, but it does not work out, and unfortunately for me. So now as you can see, I have moved that wood veneer love from the brush with the brush script up to the top, and I will leave that there. And I use a little sticker from those Teresa Collins stickers on that soccer photo, and it is absolutely perfect. Now another little cut apart, hoping I can figure out how to make this all work. As you can see, it's still just really a struggle for me to figure out how to get something to work on that card with those 2 photos. And I'm just not going to stop until I figure out how I can make this one work. So I'm getting closer with that label. It does help. And as you can see, it's getting much, much better. And I do still really want to use that wood veneer also, but I'm just not sure how I can get all of these things to work together on this one particular card. Now I'm going to go ahead and adhere that wood veneer love because it does work on that particular photo. And I'm going to start getting some other things together because this layout is getting nearly finished, which is sort of hard to believe, but it is. Now that top right-hand photo, it needed a little bit of something. I wasn't exactly sure what, so I trim a piece of that white cardstock and I adhere just a strip of it at the bottom, kind of like I did with that cut apart on the previous page. It was the photo of my 3 sons holding hands walking across the street, but instead of the cut apart, I'm going to use the white cardstock and just add the tiniest bit of journaling right on top of there as well. Also adding a sticker from the Teresa Collins sticker sheet also. Now I love that these are cut apart. Obviously they came cut apart just for practical purposes for mailing, but I actually really like it that way because then I can look at them in a little chunk instead of as its entirety. Now as you can see, the sticker works perfect on there. It helps brighten up that photo, which is a little bit dark because it was taken in the dark in the hotel room when the boys were playing a board game, which was really fun, and it was a moment I wanted to capture. So now, as you can see, I still need to figure out what to do with that lower left-hand corner photo. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work, how I'm going to use it, any of that, but I'm still working on it. So I really do want to figure it out. Now I want to use the stamp on that photo of the frozen hot chocolate from the kit, so I use my Stays On ink pad. It's my favorite way to stamp directly on photos. Dries super fast, and it's just the perfect little accent for that one photo. I pull out the Sunshine Wood veneer, again also from a previous kit, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere it right on because it looks fantastic. As you can see, it overlaps with that photo on top of it, and I love that too, that it hangs out. Now I get this genius idea to flip the card over and cover up the box, and guess what? It works. I totally figured out how to use it. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and adhere that all right down and get a little bit of journaling in and add that wood veneer over there on that right hand side card. Finally, the one with my sold house, but not until I add that little cut apart and adhere it down finally, since I'm trying to figure it out. But I just really now need to adhere those things on that left hand side and add a little date stamp, and we're really pretty well good to go. So I hope you enjoyed this look at how I put together week 32 with the Scraptastic Kit Club This Life Noted kit for August 2014. And you can find these kits. They are available on www.scraptastic.com. Thank you so much for stopping by and taking a look at my Project Life Week 32. Thank you.